Hello, everyone. Today we're going to dive into a very touching chapter from your Class 9th English textbook. It's called A House is Not a Home, and it's written by Zan Gaudioso. It's a beautiful story that really gets into the challenges of being a teenager and what a home truly means.
So here's how we'll go through our explainer today. We're going to follow the narrator's journey step by step, starting with his struggles and seeing how he finds his way back to happiness.
Before we begin, let's just think about this question for a moment. Have you ever been the new student in class or maybe moved to a new city? That feeling, of being a little bit lost and lonely? Well, that's exactly where our narrator is at the start of the story.
So we begin our story with the narrator feeling quite awkward and isolated. It's his first year of high school, and it's a tough new beginning. It's a feeling I'm sure many of us can relate to, that fear of not being able to fit in.
You see, this feeling of teenage insecurity is really strong here. In his old junior high, he was a senior, one of the big kids. But now, he's a freshman in a school that's twice as big. And, to make things worse, all his closest friends have gone to a different high school. He feels completely alone and really misses the comfort of his old school and his old teachers.
And just when he's struggling with all these feelings of loneliness, a terrible tragedy strikes, and it turns his entire world completely upside down. It all happens on a perfectly normal Sunday afternoon. He's just sitting at the dining room table doing his homework. His pet cat is right there with him, and there's a nice fire burning in the fireplace. But then he smells something odd, and when he looks up, he sees smoke pouring into the room so fast that in just a few seconds, they can hardly see a thing. The entire scene just becomes one of pure chaos and panic. The fire spreads so quickly, and soon the whole roof is engulfed in flames. And right in the middle of all this terror, his mother does something incredibly brave. She actually runs back inside the burning house. Now, what do you think she ran in for? Not for money, not for jewelry, but for a small metal box. And inside that box were the only things she had left of her late husband, his pictures and letters. This just shows us the main idea of the story, doesn't it? That our memories and our loved ones are so much more valuable than any physical thing.
And it's at this moment that our narrator just breaks down. You have to understand, it's not just one thing. It's everything piling up at once. The struggle at school, then watching his house burn down, and then the horrible realization that his beloved cat is gone. The feeling of loss is just too much to handle.
The very next day, can you believe it, he has to go to school. He has had no time to even process what has happened, and now he has to face a whole new challenge, the embarrassment and the fear of what everyone will think.
He feels like a total outcast. He has to wear borrowed clothes that he thinks look weird. He doesn't even have his own shoes because they were burned in the fire. He has no books, no homework, not even his backpack. And for a teenager, your backpack feels like your whole life. And now, it was all gone.
The shock of it all, losing his house, his pet, it just leaves him feeling completely numb. He uses the words, "I walked around like a zombie." What does he mean by that? It means he was there physically, but emotionally he was just gone, detached, as if he was living in some terrible, unreal dream. Everything he felt secure about had just been torn away from him. But it's often when things seem their darkest that a little light shines through. Just when he feels absolutely hopeless, something wonderful and completely unexpected happens that changes his entire outlook. His classmates, many of whom had never even spoken to him before, show him incredible kindness. They had secretly collected money and bought him everything he needed. School supplies, notebooks, all kinds of clothes. They even set up a big table in the gym full of these things. It was a huge, overwhelming surprise of genuine care. And this simple act of kindness, it's the turning point of the whole story. For the first time since starting his new school, he feels a real connection. He realizes that he isn't an outcast after all. That support from his new friends helps him finally overcome his loneliness. He was no longer alone.
So now, our narrator begins the long process of rebuilding. And this isn't just about rebuilding the physical house, you see. It's about rebuilding his life, his confidence, and his sense of belonging. And this brings us to the central message of our story. A house is just a building made of bricks and wood. It can burn down, it can be destroyed. But a home is made of love and relationships. It's that feeling of security and connection. He had lost his house, yes, but through the kindness of his new friends, he was starting to find his home again.
About a month later, while he's with his new friends watching his house get rebuilt,
another amazing thing happens. A woman walks up to him, and in her arms is his lost cat. Can you imagine the relief? The cat had been so frightened by the fire that she ran almost a mile away, and this kind woman found her, took her in, and had been working hard to find her owner.
And that brings us to the last very powerful line of the story. It is so simple, but it holds so much meaning. Let's look really closely at what he means when he says, "And so was I."
When he says, "so was I," he's not talking about his physical body, of course. He means that his old self, the happy, confident, and secure person he used to be before all the bad things happened, that person had finally come back. The return of his beloved cat was like the final piece of the puzzle, making him feel whole and healed again.
All right, finally, let's wrap up by summarizing the important life lessons we can learn from this beautiful chapter. What are the key things that we should take away from this story?
The story teaches us that even after a great loss, we can recover and find happiness again. It shows us that difficult times can actually help us grow stronger emotionally. And most importantly, it highlights the incredible power of friendship and simple kindness. It reminds us that a home is not a place, it's a feeling created by the people we love.
I'd like to leave you with these questions to think about. This story really encourages us to cherish our loved ones, to always try to be kind, and to remember that no matter how difficult things get, we have the strength inside us to overcome them.